Okay, and I should be unmuted. So I actually, last month, I really kind of botched things with the audio. So I'm gonna wait for this audio to show up on my phone and make sure that I'm actually like, okay. Oh, there I am. All right, sweet. Everything's good to go. All right. Well, now that that's nice and clear, today we are talking about taking a break from work. Yes, let's all just stop working for like an intentional 30 minutes. Welcome to Craft Leftovers. I am your host, Kristen M. Roach. I'm an artist, an author, and an entrepreneur. Now, Craft Leftovers is all about living our lives in a more sustainable way that keeps us doing what we love the most, which is really just making things out of things, whether it's a business or a home or a craft project, you know. So, you are really going to like this whole series if you enjoy your studio time and scheming about your creative business. Now, if you have a question for me, go ahead and leave a comment here or over on my blog, craftleftovers.com, and I'll make sure to answer it either like in the comments or on the next live stream. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and if you're catching this later as a podcast, leave a review. It's really the best way to show, me some love and also to help other people find craft leftovers. Honestly, when you guys leave comments and things or send me messages, like I got this really nice one the other day, it makes me want to continue to do this. Otherwise, I just feel like I'm speaking into a void. So I'm actually borrowing today's topic from a post I did back in 2010. Apparently, it's kind of funny what we forget. I've been talking about crafty business topics, aka small business ownership topics, since near the beginning of my career. Maybe it was like, working for small businesses as a teen in the early 20s and seeing all the good and the bad of really building something from scratch. So hold on, I'm going to take a sip of tea. And so here's something today that I think really extends to our staff too. And it's really something that we need to model for our employees as well as like our kids. So here's the thing. As a small business owner, we are not required to take or give breaks. In fact, in most states, you aren't legally required to give breaks to your employees as a business, which actually surprised me, but it's true. But most businesses do, which is excellent. And so, the thing is that you're not required to do it. And so we tend to work so hard. Like we are unicorns in that way, that we have an intensity and passion about us, about our business and our lives, that many people, for good or bad, like many of our staff, are inspired, if it's like a positive work environment, to follow that example. Or if it's in a negative work environment, really feel obligated. So the thing is that working through lunch, I know, is not unique to small business. Like really working through lunch or skipping it altogether is it's not uncommon in many of our work cultures. So while in some cases it's due to stress, overwork, and overwhelm, today I want to offer a different narrative. It's like, what if it's because you're so freaking thrilled what you have going on right now? Like today I almost worked through lunch because I was really excited about this podcast. And I'm setting up Ko-Fi today to like have my digital downloads. And so like I was really excited about like adding new things to Ko-Fi and getting my portfolio website fixed up because we are having some DNS issues. Well, that's not exciting, but it's something I'm passionate about. And so I was putting off lunch and I was like, this is what I'm talking about today, and I'm doing it. So you don't want to take a break, right? Like you just want to keep going. So like, what if you are like that toddler who doesn't want to stop playing and you're so enthralled that you're putting it off until, like a toddler, you're throwing a fit, feeling really depressed, getting fog brain, feeling frustrated, and it's really all due to a lack of calories. So, suck it up. Suck it up, buttercup. Take a lunch break. Now, no one except for like maybe me, because this is me forcing you to do something. So no one's really forcing you to take lunch. So there's not going to be a government agency that's going to fine you. And if you're self-employed, right? Like you make your own rules. Now, there's so many days where I usually don't forget to eat, but I forget to eat in like a timely way. So when I do eat, I'm famished and I'm really past this point of no return. So when I eat, I might even be like working through lunch because I have so much work to do. It's easy when you're self-employed. I'm just going to say this again. It's so easy to get so focused on what you do that you push off that break. And it sounds silly, and I'm getting ahead of myself here. It sounds really silly, like forget to eat, what? but really, like, yeah, we do it all the time. So I like my work so much. I just get wrapped up in it. Or even in school, I would get so entrenched in a project that like the hours would just slip away. So just stop it. Work, even work you love, isn't more important than sustaining your body. So that's my challenge to you. As one self-employed person to another, take your lunch break. Take an hour, but really take no less than 30 minutes. Trust me, it helps keep your energy up, keeps you focused, and it actually helps my daily productivity versus cutting into it. Like just yesterday, I was facing some really hard tasks of having to, reach out to some customers who had technical issues on our website, which are just really, it's an important part of the business. It has to be done. I'm happy to like help sort things out and get things on the right track. I want their business. I want them to have a good experience. But it's also probably my least favorite task because usually it means that like I've messed something up, or my team has, or our tech has messed up. And it feels really daunting. And I was not looking forward to it. And then I ate lunch. And all of a sudden, it was just like, I just got it done. And it was no big deal. And I didn't realize how I was having this like dread creeping in wasn't actually the task. It was that I hadn't ate lunch. Anyway, so, it makes a huge difference. And if I don't have my lunch packed, I'll end up not eating enough or eat something that's really doesn't make me feel good. And it leads me to feeling more tired, more cranky, and not doing quality work. So like cranky plus tired equals crappy work. So it's important to eat in a way that sustains you. And that's different for everybody. So I'm not even going to mention what I have for lunch. It doesn't matter. You got to eat what makes you feel good, what makes you feel energized, what makes you feel taken care of. So I know you hear eat healthy all the time, but seriously, it's so important to eat in a way that makes you feel good. So it's a 3-part deal. You got to pack a great lunch. You got to have plenty of snacks in case you miscalculated how much you should be having in your lunch. And then you really need to take that time to eat, and you will be more productive and happier. I promise. Now, it's really easy to get in this endless cycle of not enough time. I have finally come to the point in my life where I have put on the brakes and started thinking about food in terms of my quality of life. And if I am running here and there without taking time to pack my lunch and eat lunch, something that I insist all my employees do, what is my quality of life really like? And is that really what I want for myself? It's one thing if it happens every once in a while, but if it is your every day, if I'm saying I don't have time to eat every day, what is that saying about the lifestyle I've chosen in owning my own business? And how is that affecting my life? How is that rippling out into other priorities I have? So like, what's so important in our business that we are not making time for this very basic foundational thing of our health and wellness? Like water, food. Everything else is really frosting on a cake. So the thing is it's not freedom. And when we dreamt of starting and running our own business, a lot of us did, so we would have freedom, Like the truth is, like, it's just, that's not freedom. That is not what you were dreaming of when you decided to go it alone. When I decided to go alone and build a business from scratch on my creative vision, on your creative vision. Like, I remember the days when I was giving myself like 10 minutes to eat lunch for lunch and dinner at work, or eating standing up, or eating while working. And that still happens. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it's more an anomaly than the common. Screw it. Even though I'm self-employed, I'm still scarfing down food. Like when I was working at Old Navy and only had 10 minutes to eat lunch and use the restroom on a 5-hour shift. So now I'm scheduling myself a 30 to 40 minute break every day. And once a week or once every other week, I take a long lunch break and have lunch with a friend, something that really look forward to. And I enjoy the food I've prepared, and I rest and I recharge. Then I tackle that mile-long to-do list, and it feels so much easier. And all of a sudden, what I thought was a mile long was actually like a few yards. So I really hope you're gonna just try to do the same. That's the thing. Just try it. So this is such a shorty episode, right? Because it's only been 15 minutes, but this is a side note at the end. I actually, like I mentioned maybe at the beginning, or I might have mentioned this at the beginning, but most of what I just said is actually a blog post I wrote 10 years ago. And I think that is the other thing is, you might get this right one week. It doesn't mean you'll get it right every day or every week or even every year. And you'll have to remind yourself that these fundamental things about being self-employed, the unicorn work-life balance, it's only a balance in the fact that sometimes the scales are like this and sometimes they're like this, and you're always trying to readjust and recalibrate. And this is just a reminder to do one of those things. So I want to know, what do you do for your lunch break? Do you take a lunch break? Where do you struggle to find lunches? Where is it easy? And if it's not a struggle, give the rest of us your tips, because we would love to know. Then a few other things that I wanted to say about that I've learned since 10 years ago. And this is getting back to that first point I made, that you got to model this behavior, because I am so grateful for my staff, and I think back to the behaviors that were modeled when I was a teen, when I was in my early 20s in business. And it was very much so eat while you work, don't take breaks, work long hours, that whole burning the candle at both ends thing. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I think that's why I have been so passionate about talking about creative small business since I was very young, is that I was like, this can't be the only way to make a living as an artist or as a small business owner. If we can figure this out, we can make it better. And I'm not talking about a 4-hour work week. That's not appealing to me anyway. I'm talking about just I want for myself, at a minimum, things that I would be getting in a corporate environment. That's my minimum, so I want lunch breaks. I want paid time off. I want health insurance. So reclaiming those things one bit at a time for all of us, for myself, for you. Like, yeah, a lunch break is part of that. And it really does make a big difference on how the rest of your day goes. So, yeah, and my employees, I hate to admit this, but like Littlewoods, I was so overwhelmed in the beginning. We're quickly approaching our 7-year anniversary. So I'm like, wow, I guess I do actually have a lot more experience than I did when I first started this business. So like in the beginning, I was working all the time and I'd work through every lunch, and I looked around and all my employees were doing the same thing and they were all run ragged. And I wasn't asking that of them. I wasn't even expecting that of them, but I was modeling that behavior. And so I really had to start insisting that they take breaks. And it really didn't happen. Even though I said, hey, take your lunch break, they still wouldn't. Or they'd be like, no, it's okay, I don't need one. That kind of thing. And because they too were passionate, creative, dynamic people who were hard workers. And they really identified, and I really identify as being a hard worker. That hard work is good. But, I hate using the word but. I'm not going to say but. And the downside of that mentality is that sometimes you forget that rest is also good. And that rest is the thing that enables you to do hard work well. So that's my challenge to y'all and to myself as I after this, I really didn't take a great lunch break. I kind of just and then got down to the live stream because I was kind of passionately entrenched in my work. So after this live stream, which is going to be ending in 3, 2, 1 here, I'm going to give myself a half-hour break. I'm going to maybe go stand outside because it's a beautiful day and read a bit of a book and drink a little tea, and it's going to be really lovely. So, and then I'm going to finish tackling taxes. The thing everybody loves. But being well rested, I'm going to feel really good about digging into those taxes and getting it done. So that is, that's what I got for today. So check out the show notes. I'll be posting that original blog post back in the day, as well as some other resources about meal planning, quick and easy lunches, and just things. So what's inspiring me. And of course, there'll be a transcription of the whole show. So if you can't get enough of me and Craft Leftovers, and you are sad that I only live stream once a month, go ahead and sign up for the free Craft Leftovers e-newsletter, and you'll get monthly letters from me directly to you about upcoming things, live streams, project ideas from the archive, and kind of what's going on in my studio. And, of course, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and all that goodness wherever you listen. And I mentioned it offhandedly, but I did shut down ads on the blog, which is a super exciting step. I feel like it really cleared out the clutter visually, like the digital clutter. And I went with Ko-Fi instead. So if you've been thinking about getting the cat hoodie knitting pattern, you can pick it up from there. And you can pay that $5 or whatever you feel if you'd like to donate a little more to see the project continue. So I just lost track of myself again. Okay, a final quote. What is a lunch break? I should have started with this. Bona fide meal periods do not include coffee breaks or time for snacks. These are rest periods that you should just be paid for, that are naturally occur in your day. You must be completely relieved from duty for the purpose of eating regular meals. Ordinarily, 30 minutes or more is long enough for a bona fide meal period. A shorter period may be long enough under special conditions. If you're not relieved, if you are required to perform any duties, whether active or inactive, while eating, like basically if you're on call. Is that from? Is that something I made up? No, that's from the U.S. Department of Labor. So, bona fide meal, what did they call it? A bona fide meal period. You need those in your life. All right. Until next time. Bye.